Hi everyone. My name's Silvio Volombello. I'm the chair of the Parish Finance Committee. Today I'd like to speak to you about our parish financial situation. We haven't actually done this since 2016 and things aren't looking too good just at the moment. Last week we would have distributed a letter that Father Arsenio had written for us. Hopefully everyone's had an opportunity to see that and read it. It fairly briefly describes our current problem and a couple of other possible things we're going to do. But tonight, or today I should say, we're going to go through that in a little bit more detail. As the letter states, over the full year of 2022, we made a loss of $57,000. To give you a feel for the scope of this loss, our overall expenses for 2022 were $223,000. So a loss of $57,000, you can see, is very significant. Fortunately, we were able to absorb that loss with our cash reserves, but we can't do that for much longer. So why has this happened? Well, we haven't actually run a stewardship renewal program for 7 years. And there are good reasons why we haven't done that. We've had quite a succession of new priests over time. In fact, we even had about a 12-month period when we didn't have a priest at all. Of course, the other issues with COVID, we've had mass attendances diminish due to the lockdowns that we went through. And of course, getting back into masses is turning out to be a slower process than we had thought. There's a lack of new people replacing our older parishioners, and we've had to repurpose our rental property, so we no longer have that as income. For many years now, we've had diminishing income, and so we've had to be tight in our control over our discretionary spending. Things like regular maintenance on buildings has too often had to be deferred. Things like repainting, fixing the bouncing floor at the back of the church, gutters and drains that aren't working well. They're just a few of the things that need to be addressed. So it isn't a strategy that can actually continue for much longer. Our buildings are looking shabby, and this means we're going to be looking for some significant funding in the next few years. In the short term, we need to reduce our expenses, and our most significant opportunity lies with reducing staff. As such, and much to our regret, we will be losing Jacinta Bibi from next January when her employment contract runs out. In the longer term, we need to get back to a position where we can earn income from sources other than donation. And on that front, we have several opportunities that allow us to leverage our relationship with the school. These include building an indoor netball, basketball court cum gymnasium that could be used by the school during the day and then rented out after hours and on weekends, gaining some income for the parish. And there would be funding available for that through the school as well. An early learning centre that would be a feeder for the children going into the school, perhaps a kindergarten and child-minding centre, they would fit well into that concept. As public facilities, these could attract government grants and investment. In fact, we've been having discussions with Maroondah Council and with the Catholic Education people, Max, and with Michael Sukkar, who's the Federal Minister for this area. Michael is particularly positive about the potential for grants. But at this stage, these are only ideas and need a proper feasibility study and a business case before anything more concrete can proceed. And this is happening at the moment. But we're going to be needing some seed money, of course, to be able to have this roll forward as well. In the future, with income streams such as these, the parish will be able to support improved pastoral and community programs and refurbish or even renew our buildings in readiness for the next 50 years. But the other and more immediate thing that we have to do is to increase our current income. And towards that end, we've introduced a levy on school families of $200 per year. We're very conscious of the cost of living pressures on young families, and we've purposefully set that amount quite low in the hope that it wouldn't impact too much on each family. For the parish, however, it could raise $30,000 to $40,000, depending on how much it'll be picked up. And that communication went out last week. And of course, we need for our faithful parishioners to look into their hearts and their wallets. And in particular, if you're a new parishioner or not in the stewardship program, then we implore you to consider joining. I'll talk more about the mechanisms for doing that next week. If you're using envelopes, then please consider moving to a direct debit card or direct credit from a bank account. We've made changes to our website to explain how you can do this and to enable it yourself so that no one else needs to know your credit card number or your bank account details. And we hope this will give you more comfort in moving this way. And again, I'll talk more about that next week also. If you donate by dropping money into the collection bag or by using the tap and go, then we also ask you to consider moving to direct debit or credit. Obviously, we're appreciative of any donation anyone can give, but from our point of view, we need a consistent revenue stream rather than one that relies on you being here, and one where you give a fixed amount rather than the coins that are in your pocket at the time. If you're already contributing, then thank you. Thank you very much. We wouldn't have what we have today except for your generosity. But I'll bet you probably haven't looked at how much you're contributing since 2016. All those cost of living pressures that you feel at home are also felt by us in the parish. So please take time to consider how much you think you can afford to give to support the work of the parish, not only for today, but for your children and for your grandchildren into the future. So the message I leave with you today is that we're asking you to think about what this parish means to you and your family, and if you consider it's worth preserving. And if it is, then please consider what level of financial support you wish to commit. Pope Francis asks us to be disciples of the faith. Our parish has a great reputation for doing this and for having a strong sense of our community and that of North Ringwood. You need to consider how you will support this to give us a financially sound future. Next week, I'll be asking you to turn your considerations into a firm commitment. Thank you for your time.